Hey guys, it's Jenna. Welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, we are going to be talking about my June beauty favorites. I'm so excited to share with you guys all these amazing products I discovered in June or rediscovered in June. And of course, we have the ultimate fave right here. He recently got a blowout, so he's looking extra fluffy. So let's get right on into the favorites for this month. First up, I do want to talk about the product that is on my eyes right now. So this is my first favorite, but it does come with a little bit of a warning label, so to speak, with this palette. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Venus and Furs Luxe Quad in Voyageuristic Vixen. So this was from the Divine Blush launch, and you can see how crazy some of these shadows are when it comes to how foiled they are in pan. There's also a ton of kick up in this pan as well, and that's going to speak to what I'm going to share with you guys about the formulations of these shadows. So the Burgundy Shadow is the only matte. It is in the bottom left corner there. It's very, very similar in shade to the matte in Fire Rose from Charlotte Tilbury, which is now discontinued. The other side of this palette consists of two shimmer shades that are quite heavy and foiled in nature, and because of that, I do find that it is fallout central. Not only does it have quite a bit of kick up in pan, but it is one that I find personally, and I haven't found a way yet to minimize the fallout, but it really does give you quite a bit of fallout as you apply it. But what it does give you on the eye, you can see, is this gorgeous, like shiny, glowy, very foiled, glides over the lid beautifully and stays put. There's a shimmer shade over here as well, and it's super beautiful. Lightly applied with a brush, it's very diffused, but if you do pick it up with your finger as well, I find it becomes much more pigmented, very, very shimmery, and the fallout is minimal with that one. So this side, not so bad when it comes to fallout, but playing with these guys, lots of fallout. This palette, in my opinion, has more fallout even than the Pat McGrath Blitz Astral Quads. In my opinion, you can get some fallout with those shades, but this is taking it to a whole new level. I do think that this is something to watch out for. If fallout is not your favorite thing, it's not going to matter how gorgeous these shades are, it's just going to make you annoyed. So that is something that I can absolutely still be comfortable with. I know that I need to take my time with this palette, but it is something to watch out for. Gorgeous shades for sure, but something to note when you're applying them, do not do your face first. I promise you it will be a mistake. Let's talk about the next eyeshadow palette that is in my favorites for this month. And this is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension palette. This is actually the first release he's done for his line when it comes to eyeshadow. You can see also it's very, very metallic outer packaging. And it does have these two cream shadows here, which I'm going to be totally honest, I don't use them really because I find them a little bit trickier to work with. So my favorite is really based on the rest of these shadows, being that it's a very beautiful, monochromatic, everyday friendly palette for work or to jazz up for an evening as well. Not everybody has had issues with those cream shadows, but I have personally found that they're a little bit stiffer. So when you do apply them to the eye, I find that I'm tugging on my lid a little bit more than I would like to, and they dry pretty quick too. So yes, they provide a great base when it comes to applying some of these shades. There is absolutely some kick up in this pan as well, and there is a window to kind of keep those cream shadows from getting powder into them, but I will say that this is a palette that is still my favorite because of the beautiful, simple looks I've been using with this side. Let's talk about my favorite fragrance of the month, which is the Coco Mademoiselle Chanel Paris Perfume, but this is the night fragrance. So this is the one that is the special edition. They've just released this in the last few months, and this is supposed to be a lighter version of the best-selling Coco Mademoiselle perfume. I have owned Coco Mademoiselle, the Eau de Toilette, as well as the Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Parfum, of course, feels a little bit more full-bodied. The Eau de Toilette is a little bit lighter, but this is even lighter than the Eau de Toilette as well. So when it comes to staying power, this is probably the lightest one because I don't believe it's meant more than a few hours. It's meant for a night fragrance, not an all-day wear situation. So I do notice that when it comes to the longevity of this one. I also really love the bottle that this comes in. It's the gorgeous classic Chanel packaging. This has a light frosted effect as well, and it is a light peachy pink liquid inside. Same profile as Coco Mademoiselle, of course, but just a little bit lighter, and I'm loving it. When it comes to base products this month, I have been loving the Nars Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. This is one that I did demo in a recent video as well, and I believe that this shade range is a little bit warmer than what they describe. So this is the shade Light 3. It personally leans a little warm on me, so I do have it on my face right now. It does match, but like you can tell that it's just a little bit warm, and that's okay. I can pull it off still, but like just barely, you know? Sometimes I find some shades are a little bit on the cooler side, like some shade ranges as a whole. This one is just a little bit on the warmer side, but when it comes to coverage, it's definitely light to medium. It's buildable. This is the all-in-one type of situation. It will give you that radiance just by itself. When I do set it with a powder, it doesn't take away the radiance at all. So it just depends on the powder that you're using. But I find that I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Setting Powder and it sets it, but it doesn't take the glow away. And that's what I love. The only thing is that if you are someone that likes to use a glowy primer and a glowy setting spray, be aware of the radiance that this offers because you'll most likely have to pull one of those away. You're going to get a little bit too glowy on the skin. It's not matte at all. It's not on the dry side whatsoever. And that is something I appreciate. The next favorite is from Supergoop. This is the Sheer Screen Minerals. Okay, let me start that over. This is the Mineral Sheer Screen Sunscreen. This is the one that's not yet available in Canada. I did pick this up from the Sephora American site, and I sent it to a mailing depot in the US to get forwarded to me in Canada. So it was extra money to do so, but I really wanted to test it. Supergoop is slowly making its way to the Canadian market. It just doesn't have all of the SKUs yet. So this is one that I can't wait for Canadians to get because I've been loving this one. This is one that is lightweight. It does have a little bit of a smell to it. I'll kind of show you what I mean on my hand here. It's white in consistency like this, but it does smooth down on the skin to look absolutely stunning. In my personal opinion, it's not greasy, it's not matte. It's just kind of in the middle there, and it just sits on the skin beautifully all day. It sort of smells like the zinc screen has a very strong, almost sulfur smell. This one doesn't have that. It does have a light smell, but it's very tolerable. It's not fragrant, it's not perfumey. It just smells sort of like sunscreen, but lightweight. And the active ingredient in here is zinc oxide. So it is a physical sunscreen. And you can see that when I'm massaging it into the skin, it sort of gives you like a really interesting hue, if you can see that. So that's just how it's lightly blending into the skin here. And that's not where I would leave it, obviously. I would kind of blend it into the skin a little bit more. So it's nice and smooth. It does lay under makeup beautifully. And you can see here what I'm talking about. So it's not radiant, it's not matte, it's just healthy. This sunscreen is SPF 30 as well. And I do like the fact that it has that physical sunscreen component because my other favorite from the brand is the Unseen sunscreen, but that is a chemical one. So every time I get some requests from you guys about recommending a sunscreen, when I do recommend the Unseen one, I do get some questions about if there is a physical sunscreen that's just as good as that one. That one definitely is different. It has more of a silicone-y kind of feeling on the skin. But if you are one that wants a physical sunscreen instead, this is a great option, and I can't wait until it comes to Canada because I'm going to be all over it. Speaking of Charlotte Tilbury, she did do a restock of her Glogasm face palettes. I did share that on my community tab, so you can always check there for sales or restocks. I try my best to share with you guys everything that I find, especially with the like very highly requested items. Now, this is Lightgasm. This is my palette. You can see that it is, you know, very well loved, especially the highlight and the blush. There's some denting there, a little bit of pan movement, if you will. So this is a beautiful, beautiful palette. And I really wanted to get Lovegasm, which is the other one. I never purchased the other one, and I had a ton of questions about how the shades vary. So Lovegasm is one I can still pull. What just happened? Okay, that broke real well. Just keep a note, you guys, if you got one of those from the restock, be careful, because wow, I'm definitely not going to be able to hold that way anymore. But this is the Lovegasm version. So I'm going to swatch them side by side as well so you can see the difference. That was crazy. I'm just going to have to quickly clean my carpet and wash this off of my stuff so it doesn't stain. It's all over my clothes as it went down. So 1 second. Okay, costume change. Anybody have any tips on how to re-adhere or refasten a pan to a palette? Let me know. But this is the most I'm going to do for this one. This is the Lovegasm. Then of course we have the Lightgasm in the Glogasm palette. So both of them are fantastic when they stay in the pans, and they're very glowy. In my personal opinion, if you are somebody that is more fair skin, fair to light, I'm about a light neutral, so when I'm tan, I can probably pull off some of those deeper colors a little bit more, but that blush that dropped, for instance, is a bit more of a deeper blush color, so go light-handed if you are more on the light to fair side. The bronzer is a little bit deeper as well, but not by a ton. I do think you can pull it off. Same with the highlight and same with the other blush in this palette, the peachy pink kind of on the bottom right here. But other than that, I do think that these are both great palettes to pick up. Hopefully you have better luck than I do when it comes to them sticking. My Lightgasm one, of course, sticks in the pan beautifully. And I would say out of the two, the Lightgasm is definitely the one I'd probably use more on a regular basis. My next favorite is actually the Pat McGrath Labs Blush Without Caution Nude Venus blush. This is actually the blush that is in my giveaway right now that's going on my channel. If you haven't seen my high-end makeup and PR haul, you can enter there for a chance at winning some of the giveaway prizes. And this one is included because it's such a gorgeous peachy pink blush. I've been obsessed with this one. There's definitely a little bit of a learning curve with her blushes because they're very pigmented, but they do blend away as well if you over blend. It's kind of interesting. It's a very interesting kind of formulation there. But here we have the peachy pink blush from Pat McGrath in Nude Venus. Super summer and spring appropriate. I mean, if you like the Nars Orgasm shade, this is very, very similar. I just love how this color looks on the skin, and once you get the hang of them, they're beautiful. There's definitely some mixed reviews on the embossment on the inside of this. Some people think it's cheap looking and some people like it. I actually like it. I don't mind it. I've definitely come across some cheap packaging from Pat McGrath, namely the primer and the powder, like the loose powder. But other than that, this packaging is pretty good. It is the black lacquer. It's a little bit lighter in weight compared to some other black lacquer packaging she's done, but it's still very luxe in my opinion. I do have quite a few Lisa Eldridge favorites in this video for the month of June, namely the Elevated Skin Glow Highlighting Product. There's quite a few of you that say you should only really use this as a highlighter and not as an overall, primer for the face. I actually think you can use it either way as long as you apply it lightly on the face. It hasn't been a problem for me. It actually provides a really nice glow, or you can mix it with your foundation too. You don't have to just apply it to the skin first and then add your base. You can actually mix them together as you apply. But the shades I picked up are Cosmic Rose and Crystal Nebula. I did want to buy two to kind of compare because both of these to me would work with my skin tone. Here we have the two of them side by side. Cosmic Rose is pink, and the Crystal Nebula is also the one on the right. That's the beigey kind of golden one. I believe both are still available on her website. The only one I think that's sold out right now is the blushes, or a majority of the blushes. So these are still available, but note to my Canadian gals, you will be getting duties on top of the conversion from pounds to Canadian dollars. So just kind of factor that in because it's fairly hefty of an additional charge. In my opinion, it's worth it because her products are very good quality, but I just figured I would let you guys know because it's kind of a crappy surprise if you don't see it coming. I do have other Lisa Eldridge favorites this month, and namely they are the two glosses I picked up from that same order. This is the gloss in Songbird and the one I'm wearing currently in Charm. She provides a really beautiful gloss texture. It's very hydrating, very moisturizing. I would say pigmentation's about medium, but it is buildable. But here we have Songbird on the left, and then we have that gorgeous Charm shade on the right. So both of them are absolutely beautiful. The Charm shade almost looks like that gorgeous, like cooler tone bubblegum pink. Songbird also has that beautiful warmth to it, and it's a gorgeous shade as well. My next favorite is also one I haven't shared my thoughts yet with you guys on my channel, but This is the gorgeous Nars Orgasm at the Beach palette. You can see that it almost looks completely unused. It's still very perfect. And it actually speaks to the type of formulation that this is, which is that kind of baked jelly formulation. Makes it look almost untouched after multiple uses. But this is the Orgasm on the Beach palette. It is the summer feature. Nars typically does come out with some limited edition collections surrounding the shade Orgasm. And this is honestly a beautiful, beautiful collection of blushes. I've been using these two as highlight, being very careful with that second one because it does have a little bit of a rich bronze undertone. When it comes to that third shade, I haven't used that one too much, or this one, I'll be honest, given that these are the deepest in the palette. So going light-handed with those for my skin tone or lighter than me is going to be important. If you're deeper than me, of course, it's going to look gorgeous on you. But the rest of the shades, mainly these four in that quadrant, are the shades I've been using the most. This product has an 18-month shelf life, although I will most likely be using it past that point. And it does have a beautiful Nars embossment right into the powder, so you can see that there. Love how it has some gorgeous shine. The variety of blushes in here is beautiful. Plus you have the two highlights for almost a total face in one palette. All you have to do is add bronzer if you want. This is super, super beautiful. I've saved the best for last. This is my last favorite for June. It has become a very quick favorite. This is the primer of choice I've been using. This is from Victoria Beckham Beauty and Augustinus Bader. I said Augustus Bader the first time I said his name, but I realized there's more letters than Augustus. This is the primer from her line. It's the Cell Rejuvenating Priming Moisturizer. It's an illuminating complexion cream. Here's what I will say about this. I can't speak to the skincare benefits of it really because it's not something I've been using for that long. And I do personally think when you're talking about skincare, you have to evaluate it longer than a few weeks. But this is a primer that almost feels like magic cream on the skin a little bit. It's got that nice subtle glow, nothing too crazy, not like Flawless Filter or the Auric Glow Lust or the Lisa Eldridge. If you were to prime with this is definitely glowier than this. Just like what this product advertises though, it's just illuminating. It's your skin, supple, hydrated, healthy looking. And it's beautiful under makeup. Honestly, everything I've ever used over top has just been gorgeous. Nothing's been pilling up or anything. And you guys were totally right. My cap was stuck when I was unboxing this. So I actually like rolled it out and, you know, showed a tube. I'll show you. I was like, oh, weird. Like, how is this gonna apply, you know? My cap was actually stuck. See, all you have to do is lift straight up and it does have a pump. So thank you for that little reminder. It's like a very white, milky consistency, and you can see it's kind of dripping down my hand a little bit. Nothing crazy though. It does have enough of a thickness to kind of hold its own. No fragrance on it at all that I can smell. If there's fragrant ingredients, it's certainly not evident on the nose. So it does a good job with that. I know that that can also be kind of a turnoff for some of you guys. But when it comes to how it looks on the skin, it's slightly illuminated, slightly blurred, nothing super, super crazy with the blur factor, but just more so that healthy, supple skin look. If you have preferences like me, you're going to love this one. This is a beautiful primer under any base I've ever used, whether it be tinted moisturizer or a full-blown foundation. What do you guys think of my June beauty favorites? Do leave me a comment. What is one of your beauty favorites from this past month? And until my next one, guys, take care and stay safe. Bye, guys.